All right, so today we are in beautiful St. Charles, one of my favorite cities to work in, and we're gonna be showing you today, step by step, exactly how we install a concrete coating system in the garage behind me. It's gonna be really cool to watch. Check it out. All right, so the guys are setting up here, and I wanna really talk about the first step of the process, which is actually the most important step, is grinding your floor. Garage floors are smooth. They're very smooth surfaces. If we were just to clean the floor and put our coating down, after a year, maybe even less, it's gonna peel right off. So to install a floor and make it last, what we do is we grind it with this machine right here. This is really the secret to preparing a great durable coating. This is a 900-pound machine, and all of that weight is being forced on these diamond plates on the bottom of the machine. So you could imagine that the weight of this machine on top of a diamond, it's really gonna open up the concrete. And what it's doing is it's exposing the pores of the concrete, the little holes in there, because those holes will eventually get filled with our material, penetrate deep into the concrete, and lock in the coating to the concrete. So that's why we spend a great deal amount of time and a great deal amount of money investing in the right equipment so that the floor is going to bond and it's going to last.
Oh, bury me, carry me, oh, far beneath, oh, fire and water me, going down deep, say, oh, bury me, carry me.
All right, so the guys just finished up grinding and we're moving on to step 2. And before we do that, I want to talk about the floor itself. Now you can see the floor is now all white, and that's exactly what we want to see. We want the pores to open up, which they are, and now that's going to basically suck in our primer and lock in. Now, before we actually put down the primer, we need to kind of make some repairs. All the floors that we work on, unless it's a new construction, are going to have some damage, some wear and tear, some cracks, some salt damage. Those areas are restored before we put down our base coat. So you can see the guys have done that here. We use a fast setting material called a mender, and we mix both of these liquids together, mix them up real good. We pour it on the floor, and we basically just trowel it in all the areas that you see here, and that's gonna fill all of the holes, all of the cracks. It's basically gonna fortify this floor and make it nice and solid again. We also made a repair on this back wall here. There was a really big hole where they put some piping through, so we filled that with some fast material as well. So this stuff will sit here for about 20 minutes or so. Then the guys will get back on it and they're gonna grind it again. And it's gonna be a perfectly smooth surface once they're all done doing that. For our base coat, or we call our primer coat, we're using material that's called polyurea, okay? So a lot of people are familiar with epoxy, and the industry is actually kind of moving away from epoxy and more towards polyurea for a couple of reasons. Number one, polyurea is a little more flexible, so there's less chance of it cracking over time, which can happen with an epoxy floor. It's also a little stronger than epoxy. So polyurea is becoming kind of the go-to primer coat for garage floors. And one thing you want to keep in mind when using polyurea is the percentage of solid. So this is our polyurea, and this is really the best you can get. This is 98% solids. High solids polyurea is going to give you a really strong, durable floor. So the guys right now are squeegeeing it, they're gonna roll it out, and that's the primer coat. At this stage, we put down the base coat, they rolled it out real nice. Now they're throwing the flakes into the wet polyurea base coat. The flakes come in a variety of colors. We have about 10 different color options, and they really serve two purposes. Obviously, number one, it's gonna make the floor look nice. The other reason that we add flakes to a floor is that it gives you some traction. If you don't have flakes, the floor could become slippery, so the flakes provide that traction along with the look. So in a few hours, we come back, we scrape the floor down, remove the excess flake, and then we put the final top coat. So now we're at the final stage of the process, which is applying the protective top coat. Now for this, we use a material called Polyaspartic. We don't use epoxy. It's very similar to epoxy. However, epoxy is not UV stable, which means it will turn yellow over time where Polyaspartic won't. It's also a lot more scratch resistant, stain resistant, chemical resistant. So it's overall just a much stronger, more industrial grade top coat. That's what we use on all of our jobs. We lay that down by first hitting it with a squeegee and then back rolling it. This is going to ensure uniform coverage. Honestly, I feel like this is the most satisfying part of the job because when you're done, it just looks like a showroom. It's a wrap. The guys just finished up putting the top coat. They're about to pull away and call it quits for the day. Floor came out great, beautiful shine. The customer will be able to walk on this floor in 24 hours, but 3 days are required in order to drive on it. These are great floors. I love seeing the finished work. But what makes a concrete coating so beneficial is that it just keeps your garage looking clean. You just hose it down maybe once or twice a year, and that shine will maintain year after year.